Hello friends, welcome back to another Halloween themed video, and this is another original tag for Tag Tuesday. So this is the Booktube Halloween song tag. So with this tag I wanted to show some love to my other booktubers while also wrapping in some of my favorite Halloween listens. Everyone loves a good playlist during Halloween, so let's dive in to see what songs and what booktubers I paired up. So prompt number 1 is shout at the devil. Name a booktuber who is not afraid to get fired up on a rant. And for this, I went with Rachel at the Shades of Orange because Rachel is such a calm booktuber usually. I love the sound of her voice and how she talks about books. But man, every now and again, she talks about a book that she gets absolutely fired up over, and I love it because she just comes out of her shell and she's gonna tell you exactly what she thinks about a book. Prompt number 2 is Witchy Woman. Name a booktuber with a great dark aesthetic or background. And for this I picked Pax Panic. She has the theme of black and this acid green on her channel, but man, her makeup is wonderful. She wears contacts, she has all of the accessories, and everything has this wonderful green glow, and I just absolutely love the theme of her channel. Prompt number 3, Monster Mash. Name a booktuber who you would love to do a buddy read with. And for this, I went with Kasha's Book Cemetery because Kasha is trying to get more into middle grade horror. She loves middle grade and YA. And besides that, Kasha always has the most wonderful reviews and wrap-ups. They're very in-depth, and I love the way she thinks and the way she puts her reviews together. So I would absolutely love to do a buddy read of probably a middle grade horror with Kasha from Kasha's Book Cemetery. And the next prompt is thriller. Name a booktuber who has great recommendations for something that's horror adjacent, so not specifically within horror. And for this I went with Nikia's Hideaway because Nikia has wonderful thriller recommendations. She reads horror sometimes, but she loves thrillers, so I usually get a lot of my thriller recommendations from Nikia, and she is someone else who is not afraid to tell you what she truly thinks about a book. So I can usually gauge, even though we don't agree all the time on books, I can usually gauge pretty well if a thriller is going to appeal to me, because Nikia also really doesn't like a whole lot of romance in her reads. So I really appreciate that, and I get a lot of recommendations from her. The next prompt is Spooky Scary Skeletons. Name a booktuber with great costumes. And for this I picked none other than Harpies in the Trees. So Merce has the most fantastic costumes. She must put so much work when she dresses up, and she uses a lot of vocal effects, and some of her videos are like the scripts that she writes, especially the ones that she does for her Halloween specials, are just out of this world. Merce has absolutely the best costumes. The next prompt is Werewolves in London. Name a booktuber who lives in a place that you would like to visit. And for this I went with Juan from Plagued by Visions because Juan lives in California, and one of my dreams is to go to California to experience the Disney Halloween productions and the Universal. They have, you know, the Oogie Boogie Bash and the Universal Nights and all of those kinds of things. So one of these years Matt and I will put together a trip to go down to California and visit all of the wonderful places who do the spooky haunts, because we just don't have things like that here in Canada, or at least in Alberta that I know of. The next prompt is Psycho Killer. Name a booktuber who you would pick to help defeat the killer in a slasher flick. So for this I chose Lydia from Typical Books, and I have 2 reasons. Number 1, I think Lydia would definitely keep a cool head in that sort of situation. She has a wonderfully calm demeanor, and I think between the two of us we would probably come up with something pretty good. And the other reason that I would pick Lydia is because She likes a little bit more extreme horror than I do, so she would probably come up with a wonderful way to defeat a killer in a slasher flick who just doesn't seem to want to die. The next prompt is vampires will never hurt you. Name a booktuber who always will compel you to pick up a book, no questions asked. And for this one, I picked Cameron Chaney from Library Macabre because Cameron and I have a very similar taste in our vintage horror and even the new horror that we love. So Cameron reads a lot of YA and middle grade horror, and he has a lot of recommendations for books and authors that I've never even heard of. So if Cameron is recommending a book, most likely, without a second thought, I'm going to pick it up. The next prompt is Red Right Hand. Name a booktuber who is also an author or who tells great stories. And for this, I picked the lovely Regina St. Clair. Regina is someone who I really, really look up to, and man, she is just pumping out books this year, novels and novellas, and she has such a fantastic writing style. I love her novellas and I love her short stories. But even more so than that is the artwork that she picks to put on her books. I know she doesn't design her own artwork, but she has a real knack for picking stuff that looks wonderfully, wonderfully gothic. So if you haven't checked out Regina's writing yet, make sure you go pick up one of her fantastic novellas. And her goal this year is to put out a novella every single month. So she has lots and lots to choose from. And the last prompt is Witch Doctor. Cast a spell on other people to do this tag. So of course I'm going to leave this open. I want everyone to make a video and help spread that booktube love. Let's get those recommendations out there so other people can find wonderful, wonderful book channels to watch. So there you guys go. That is the Booktube Halloween song tag. Again, this is an original tag that I created, so if you do go ahead and make a video, if you could please tag me as the original creator, I would be forever grateful. And besides that, if you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a thumbs up, leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky everybody. Bye.